In this video, we are going to add a pump and a storage tank to this network. The scenario is like this. Now, there is a community who is living in a high elevation, let's say about 105 meters high. So obviously, even if you connect a pipe from here to here, they will not get water because the head here is much less than what is needed to send water there. So what we are going to do is to add the storage tank here. Let's assume that storage tank is, so this is at 105 elevation. The storage tank is at, let's say, 120. So now we need to pump water from the source to this location. So what I'm going to do, first I'm connecting the pipes here. Okay. And then I'm going to add the pump to this location. When you're adding pumps, be careful of the direction. If you first click this node and this one, then the water will be pumped in the opposite direction, and that's not going to do any good for us. Okay, now let's look at the properties of each of these. So this length, let's assume it's 500 meters, it's shorter distance, diameter 200, let's say, and roughness 140, same plastic material. Now, what you can do is you can copy these parameters to another pipe. So if you click on this one, you can see now it has copied the roughness and the diameter. Of course, it will not copy the length. So let's say this is 400 meters length, right? So, and the tank is at 120, right? And tank diameter is 50. Let's not change it. So can have minimum level, maximum level, things like that. Yeah. Um, Now, this pump to operate, it needs something called a pumping curve. That is the characteristic of the pump. How does it work under different head and different flow requirements? So what we are going to do is to go to data and create curves, new pumping curve. Let's call it PC1. Yeah. And let's say that, so you have to define the pumping curve here. If you have a catalog from a manufacturer, you can digitize some of the values from the pumping curve they provide, but we don't have that. So what we do is we assume a very simple pump with flow of, let's say, 20 liters per second. the It can pump to a head about, let's say, 45 liters. So it creates a pumping curve like this. Now go to the pump and specify the pumping curve, PC1. Done. Um, yeah, elevation of this point, it's not so important because it's not a demand point, but still this is 80, so let's call this is also 80 because it's in the same place. Yeah. And then what is the demand at this point? Let's assume that they have base demand of 20. Okay. Now let's try running this and see whether there are any errors. No. So it runs well. So now you can see what is the pressure at this point, for example. Yeah, like this. And what is the water level of the tank? You can look at it by tank's pressure. So water level is increasing. Yeah. And how much water is flowing through the pump. You can see it like this. Yeah. So that is how you can add a pump to a hydraulic network.